This season we start off at Brands Hatch on the short circuit. We then go to Thruxton.
And then Mallory Park, Alton Park,
Mondello Park. Then we go to Croft.
Knockhill, then Snetterton,
Silverstone. Cadwell Park.
back to Alton Park.
Donington.
And then we finish the season at Brands Hatch on the Grand Prix circuit. Paul was the first one, which we had back in the Phil Giles days. Glen Richards, I thought, had been here long enough. Brucey, the New Zealander, he wants to hang upside down all the while. Dean Thomas, my other rider, came over with Glenn originally. Steve, my son, he's doing pretty good. Johnny T, he's our engine builder. Roy jumped on the team with us. Lee works for me Thursday, Friday, Saturdays. Frank and Kim, the lorry drivers, they're both tyre people. Tina, she's one of the brolly dollies, she enjoys that bit. My wife, she just likes work really. I'm trying to slow her down at the moment.
We've been supplied with video cameras to do video diaries basically. As a run up to each round. I'm sitting here on my motorhome trying to relax at the moment. But it looks like I've got to do my video diary again. To just take them everywhere we go really.
The ambitions of myself and the lads is doing World Superbike, and we'll keep striving to get onto that podium. We do need another real 200 grand to move the team.
I just got it a little bit wrong then, unfortunately.
I turned up at Brands Hatch with only a couple of hours, under my belt on the bike.
Beat myself up, see if I can get fired up for this race.
I worry about him all the time. And not a minute goes by that I don't worry about it, because there's something cracking off and is in the thick of it.
This is mad. Mad as I don't know what.
Big learning curve, Brands Hatch. I think, to get in and just get a result and get out of there, for me, if I can finish in the top 10 in 2 races, I was pleased.
Oh, midnight, what do you rank to that? First one of the season, many to come.
The bike is still being developed, it's getting better all the time.
We didn't have an awful lot of testing. It was quite wet early in the year and quite cold, and I mean, a lot of the tests were snowed out.
We do need to be challenging Ducati and Honda and Rizzler Suzuki, because we need to be testing.
That's it, we're getting the bikes out now. Good morning, peoples. It's Tuesday morning and I'm absolutely knackered. Brands Hatch was the first race was good for us because we had a podium and we wouldn't have expected that. So for Brands it was a really good result.
Come on, Phil, pull your bike a bit.
Yeah, it went alright. Yeah, it went okay. Good steady result, really.
Where are we going from? We're going from third, did it? Good lad.
Cracking start to the season at Brands Hatch, really. Got onto the podium there, so I've got to be happy with the podium first meeting.
I was going to be happy with top 10 positions. We've had one podium, a 7th, 8th and 11th, so I'm over the moon today because we can get out now before Thruxton, do a little bit of testing. One or two things that we need to test.
Good day, Brucey. Going testing. The Darling. Running in. We are. It's Wednesday. How many days we've got to go? Thursday and loads of Thruxton, so it's not good. Yeah, we're just going to do a bit of testing on the 2 bikes. One engine needs running in. So hopefully the weather will stay nice for us.
Look at that, the old boy's still got it.
We only got an hour on the track. It's good because you're not under pressure, so you're more relaxed. We learned straight away the bike wasn't far away, and we had a good direction to go, and we knew what we were going to try.
So we've done some testing. The engine's all running on Glen's number 2 bike. So we'll get back to the workshop now and just check her over, change the oil, get things ready for tomorrow, which is Thursday, for loading up in the trucks.
second race of the season, we're off to Thruxton.
The fastest circuit in the country.
The track is very fast. It's a flowing track, fast corners, not many straights. It's a difficult track. You do need to have a good set-up bike and obviously a fast bike as well.
Thruxton last year, practice and qualifying had gone quite well there at Thruxton last year, and we got out in the race, and I had a bit of a problem with a tyre from memory. I was on pole for the first session, and then I got dropped off the front row. I qualified fifth, but I was fifth on the grid, and it was all going really, really good. The first race we got a good start, and
Race got stopped, went back out on the rerun, tyre didn't grip as well, and bumped down at that dreadful chicane with a big curb.
I had a little bit of a problem. I got the chicane a bit hot on one lap, and I ended up running over a curb. That was the end result, really. I hit a curb there, and at Thruxton the curb's sort of about that high, so if you hit them, you're off. Unfortunately, I landed very heavily on my left arm here, and the bone came out the skin, and then I fractured up through the elbow joint itself, and my radius, which is the upper bone in your forearm, dislocated. So there was nothing really holding my arm to my elbow.
It turned out a lot worse than we all anticipated because when he was first operated in down at Southampton, I think it was a break, lost some bone, lost a bit of bone. It was wired up. Went about a week to 10 days, and of course the wires had come undone, and unbeknown to him it had been done the incorrect way. So Tommy got back into hospital then. There was even shorter bone because the surgeon had to cut some of the infected bone off. There was as he said, there was a bit of bone he threw away and a bit of bone on the tracks.
I thought, well, that's probably going to be me out for the year, but
it was a long comeback for him, but the guy is, he's a dedicated lad. He's a super guy as well. If you fall out with Glen, you'd fall out with your shedder, I think, really. So it was hard work for the guy.
Because it broke up through the elbow joint, that I have lost, some mobility with it. I can't straighten my arm anymore, but that doesn't really bother me too much. I can still ride the bike fine. The worst thing is I've found with not being able to straighten my arm is when I play 8-ball and pull, and I put my arm down and my elbow knocks the ball out of the way because I think it's straight and it's not. So.
We struggled again in practice. On Friday we went really well, and then we started changing things to try and go better, and we basically went backwards. Slight oily problem, so we're just going to look into that tonight. I'm sure we'll sort it for tomorrow. Keeps it interesting.
I actually struggled there quite badly on Friday and Saturday with lap times. I just could not get the times down.
Fastest track on the calendar, and the most bumpy track that we have.
Well, it's round 2 of the championship, and we're at Thruxton Raceway.
Here we are, Saturday night. Qualifying today's been quite good, really.
It's been quite difficult, I have to say, this weekend. A step forward from Brands Hatch, but definitely difficult. It's been dry all weekend so far, just really windy.
We've done a lot of work with the bike, today. A lot of stuff with the rear suspension. Tried a different shock, and that seemed to work. And slightly softer fork springs. Changed a bit of gearing. The bike's now starting to feel like a race bike that I can do good times on for 22 laps, which is important around here.
I seem to have taken a step back today, so we work frantically with the rear suspension most of the time, trying to improve the grip level and trying to get a bit more stability out of the bike, but we haven't really been able to succeed properly yet.
You find you're trying to spin the tyre to compensate, to stop it to reduce traction.
Yeah.
We struggled on Saturday, so we decided to go back to what we had on Friday. And basically what we had on Friday was very close, and we should have just stayed there. But you don't know that until you try,
In the race last year, I had a bit of an incident and ended up over a curb there, and the curbs here, unfortunately, are so high that generally if you hit one, you're not going to stay on the bike. So, I had had a bad meeting here last year, but you know, I'm not too bothered. I actually like the racetrack and enjoy riding around it. So
We have a setup that's good for qualifying, but it's difficult to get it right for the race. I'm sort of hoping that, you know, we can come across the setup in the morning, and with this circuit, such a fast track, fast and bumpy circuit, it's going to be tight racing all day anyway. So looking forward to it. Should be a good race, and let's see what happens.
see if we can get the back tight the last 22 laps and have a bit of grip at the end and see what happens. That's about it. Cheers.
Clean it over there. Making it nice and shiny for race 1.
Thruxton this year was a bit different because obviously last year Glen fell off just coming out of the chicane there, and obviously injured his elbow, which is quite a bad injury, which put him out for most of the season. So to come back to that meeting, obviously there's bound to been a little bit nervous in that
Corner, and then I had to avoid missing him. Nearly went over the curb where I crashed last year. To avoid him, trying to avoid him. And then everyone come past.
It used to be really, really bad until Thruxton, and I think in a strange way, seeing him actually come off that bike, it was sort of, in a strange way, I actually needed to see that, because no matter how bad it wasn't as bad as what I'd imagined it would be, you know. So I'm pretty chilled about it now.
I think we have to be on best behaviour and make sure everything's done right today.
Thank you.
Kawasaki Japan come across to have a look and see how the whole thing ran.
And they're interested in racing, and they look and see how many Kawasaki's are in all classes. I think they're quite impressed at the moment because there's a lot of Kawasaki's in Superbike. When you consider the ZX-10, Japan did not figure on that being a Superbike racing bike. It was built really for super stock. In fact, when I was over in Annemasse at a race meeting, they suddenly realised that they had not homologated the bike for Superbike racing, which you have to do.
I think for that bike to be out getting the results it did, Kawasaki were quite surprised, you know, and they wanted to come over and see how it was done.
You have to be on your best behaviour, and bound to be slightly nervous when you've got them guys there, but I consider it went well.
Why they were exactly there, I'm not quite sure. It's amazing when you're buried in your work. You tend to just, you tend to notice them, but you don't sort of take too much notice, if you like. You're just busy doing your job, really.
All teams are different, and there's pluses and minuses in every team, but I mean, we know the Hawk team have got a really good proven record, and Dean really excited to race for the Kawasaki, and also we've known Glen like our whole lives because Dean raced with him in Australia, so it was nice to sort of come in and have a teammate, because Dean's not had a teammate for a number of years, and that that's quite nice both ways, and you find it drives the riders harder because they're sort of competing against each other internally, and both they help each other as well, so it goes forward. So we were really happy. We sort of hoped that we would get the ride, and the day we got the call and it was sort of confirmed, it was a great day for us.
Let's get this started. Knew I put my leathers on too early.
We're at P6 on the grid, so it's a good place to be. What they do now is they're just resetting all the data login, making sure everything's to zero so we can get some good data out on track.
I think we all got mixed up. We got so many tyres thrown at us that we got ourselves a little bit mixed up.
We're getting the tyres ready for the first race. 2 brand new fronts, 2 brand new rears. Get them in, get them plugged, warmers on. Put the warmers on an hour and a quarter before the race starts, so they're nice and warm up to temperature. Ready to go. Let's go.
I think our bike was as good as anything out there.
I suppose we got spoilt at Thruxton with Glen having his heroics on 750s there, and we were all up there.
Of course we're going to win today. That's what we're here for, to win.
Change the bike again, believe it or not. But no, we've got back to some settings that we had on Friday when the wind was down a bit, which probably should suit today a bit better, hopefully. So fingers crossed. There's no reason why we can't be there, so just got to look in.
We're 6 on the grid, so not too bad a spot really. Nice to be on the front row, but 6 is alright.
It sort of came good on race day. Like, we struggled on Saturday. Race day, we just decided to go back to what we had on Friday. And basically what we had on Friday was very close, and we should have just stayed there. But you don't know that until you try, Yeah, we think we've gone back in the right direction. We got a bit lost yesterday, really, just trying a few things. So, yeah, we've ended up going back to what we did on Friday, basically. We had it pretty much right then. So, yeah, we're reasonably happy.
We'll only be up in the top 10. And hopefully top 5. Podium, because we all want Dunlop caps as well.
It's the way that you move, baby. It's such a dirty grind. Got a glimpse of tattoo, baby. But I knew you wouldn't mind, 'cause I know it's got to be. And I got to make you see that I love you more than rock and roll.
I was just telling him that the safety car was out due to Thruxton crashing at the chicane.
Say it one more time. I think I love you more than rock and roll.
So, and he had a good race result at Thruxton. You know, he actually beat Glen in the first race there.
It's a result. It's a result, it's over. It's better than brand, so yeah, can't complain after a bit. Looking forward to the next one now.
Dean's a professional sports person. He works really hard every season. I think this year, you know, for everybody, the series is just so competitive that everybody, you know, has to give it 110% all the time, and it's a lot harder to get results than it was in previous years, you know. So Dean's sort of come into the season, you know, extremely fit, and, you know, has done a lot of training over winter and stuff, and is still struggling a little bit with things like arm pump, which is a bit frustrating, you know, but is still looking into ways to try and fix that, change his training regime, you know, in the last week to try doing something different to see if that helps, you know, because you just have to be, you know, 100% at this sport all the time.
The last lap they pulled a couple of paces back.
I'm sixth.
Come out there with, I think it was a 6th in the first place, in the first race, and a finish in front of Glen, and I think it might have been 7th in the second one and right behind him. So that was a pretty good result, considering, you know, we do suffer a little bit with speed with the bikes.
Struggled a little bit with the rear tyre, to be honest, the first half of the race. Very similar problems to what Glen had. Just a lot of rear chatter in the middle. But as the race went on, it sort of whirled the tyre off. The last 5-6 laps were pretty good.
Second race. Good race. Yeah.
Thank you.
Brilliant last couple of laps.
Fantastic. Thank you. Good. Much better for me. Back, we changed to nothing. Just the back tyre was so much better.
All right. Better? Better result.
I've got a happier drive home now.
Yeah, Thruxton was a little bit disappointed in some aspects.
And he had a couple of good results there, so that was good actually.
For some reason, didn't seem to happen this year, so one of those things really.
We had good results there, so we came away with upright bikes this time and some good solid results.
I need to be informed.
Why's that?
Because I'm the leader of the team, that's why.
Spoken to so many people this year, a lot of promises, a lot of disappointment, and we do need another real 200 grand. We need to be testing.
15, wasn't it? Yeah, just a point. He won't be very happy with that, I don't think. That's it.
So we're going to go home. That's it. We've had enough.
New rule, boss.
The new rule says it's whatever laps are left. It's
exactly.
You won't be able to restart on that route.